Hey Guitar Fam, what's going on? It's Nate here, and since the Blues Hound course is out and available now, I wanted to do a couple more blues videos of like my favorite kind of greatest hits of the ideas contained in that course. And one of the things that I really like throwing in every now and then to my blues playing is a major pentatonic sound. But often when people are starting to get into this, it has kind of the same effect. They start out the same way. They learn a giant pentatonic scale, and then they have trouble wheeling it and making it really musical. Just like we talked about in the last lesson with the minor pentatonic scale, we took just that tiny little fragment, the BB's box, and used just that to play over the entire 12-bar blues chord changes. You can do the same thing with the little major pentatonic box, and it makes it much easier and much more manageable. So I just wanted to show you that in this video, and it'll give you an idea of how to start using major pentatonics in your playing in your blues solos. All right, before we get started, make sure that you go to guitarfam.com and create your complimentary account where you can get access to the first module of all of our premium courses, including the Blues Hound. But we also just launched some new membership options to monthly and annual membership options for some really reasonable prices, so you want to check those out too. And oh yes, we have jam tracks available for you and graphics for the resources for this lesson, so you can go to the site too and download those. All right, if you watched the last video on the channel on the blues, it was about BB's box. You know, instead of using this whole giant A minor pentatonic to cover the 12-bar blues progression and play over changes, we just broke it down into lowered 7, root, lowered 3rd, 4th, bend it up to the 5, and just focus on the root notes of the 1 over the 1 over the 4, of the 4 over the 4, and of the 5 over the 5. Right, so it made it accessible to actually play over blues chord changes. Now, what if you want a different sound? What if you want to switch to a major pentatonic sound? Well, there's a box for that too, like I said in the intro. All you have to do, let's say we're going to be in the key of A blues, and if you need to brush up or learn BB's box using the minor pentatonic, here's the video for that. It's the last video on the channel. And if you need to go over the 12-bar blues progression, that's really the foundation for this. If you don't have that down, then it's going to be tough to use this stuff. So here's the video for that one. It's the same idea. We're starting with a root note here for the minor pentatonic version of this. All we're going to do, and we're going to be in the key of A blues, is start with our index finger on that same A note. And this could be any note anywhere on the fretboard, and this works. So that's really cool. The numbers change here a little bit. Same shape, actually, too. Same shape. You're just skipping one fret between each finger, and then doing that on 2 adjacent strings. In this case, the D string and the G string. And the numbers we end up with here when we do this, when we change our base of operation from our 3rd finger to our 1st finger, are 1. Still the root note, right? This is a 2. That's in a major pentatonic scale. That is not in a minor pentatonic scale, so that's good. And what we're going to do is take that 2 and bend it up to the 3. Just like we bent the 4 up to the 5 with the minor pentatonic version of this, we're bending the 2 up to the 3. That is also in the major pentatonic scale, okay? The next note over is a 4. That is not in a major pentatonic scale, but it is in the standard 12-bar blues progression. So this box technically isn't a major pentatonic box, but it functions as one really well. It just has kind of an added 4 to it if you want to look at it that way. So 1, 2, bend 3 up, 2 to 3, 4, and then 5. Okay? And then you can even bend up to 6 if you want to. That is in a major pentatonic too. Okay, so those are the notes you're gonna, and that's the first step that you need to do, is just memorize these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a whole step up to a bend up to a 6. And if you hear that and you think about BB King does this all the time, like, you're going to hear that kind of idea all the time. This is really what he's doing. And I threw one extra note in there that you need to be aware of. So 1, 2, 3, bend up to 3, right? Whole step. 4, and then I went up chromatic. I hit that note in between these 2 fingers to hit the flat 5, the blue note. And you can throw that in there too if you want. So this little shape covers a lot of ground. It covers the 1, 2, 3, 4, not in the major pentatonic, flat 5, blue note, right? 5, 6. And that right there is really the standard lick that you probably need to learn if you want to play the blues. So something like that, and that's taught in the Blues Hound course, like in detail. And all you have to do to mix it up is change your point of reference from your third finger to your first finger. So watch this. I'm just going to play a little idea for a 12-bar blues. So if I start with minor and then kind of switch back and forth between major and minor, it'll sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. All right, that's a very basic example of how you can use just those 2 boxes to play through a full 12-bar blues progression. And that's harder than it looks because I found myself always wanting to get out of that box, you know, and move up the neck, or use the full major pentatonic. And you can do that, but when you add more notes and a bigger shape to it, it makes it harder to play over the changes. So the first thing I would do for this major pentatonic little box is to memorize the note locations, like the numbers, right? So 1, 2, 5, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5, and you can bend the 5 up to the 6. And you could play an entire blues like that, and it'll sound really major, right? So, and it doesn't really sound bluesy, so I would try to stay away from doing that and just break this out every once in a while and when you need it. And you can do it over just the A, using just the A. Get this lick down. Or here on this A. And I play that over the 1 chord sometimes, like the A chord, for the second 2 bars of the first 4 bars of the 12-bar blues. But another thing that I also do is I use this idea, if I want to get really major sounding, over the bars that go from the 5 to the 4 toward the end of the 12-bar blues. So this, all I do is find an E for the 5 chord, right? And then play my box. And then come back down to the root. And then move down to the D. And then back to A blues. And there's the E right here, the 5. So it can be minor or major. Either one. It's kind of dealer's choice, however you want it to sound. So what you really don't want to do is just play, you know, your blues lick, and then just switch to a big major pentatonic scale. Number 1, it's not very bluesy. Number 2, it just sounds like you switched and changed and ran through a scale, right? This little 4-note shape dissolves it down into something that's manageable, and that's something that's in the actual vocabulary of the blues that you expect to hear. So something like blues lick. And then back into the minor pentatonic is what you want to kind of shoot for. But the first step is getting to know the notes in there, and then just getting used to the shape. And then being able to recall it at will over the A, over just the 1 chord from time to time, if you like the sound of that or want the sound of that. And then you can use it to play over the E. And then, you know, back to just minor pentatonic. That's the way I really like to use this. And if you want to get some good practice playing the blues in a kind of a major context, just go check out the song Hideaway. And that'll give you some ideas for how you can use the major pentatonic in the blues context. But really, it's not the meat of the solos when I use this idea. It's more like the side dish or the spice in the food, you know. So again, I'll walk you through just what I played using this minor pentatonic for the most part. It's something like this. And then I did something like that, it restated it. And then I walked a 4-chord change, so I found a D. And then went back to A minor. The BB's box right there. And And then I went A major pentatonic. Don't worry about that part. It's a little bit out of the context of this, but it is covered in the Blues Hound. And then once I got up to this A, I just went a full major box over the 4 to 5, the 5 to 4 change. And it sounds awesome over that. And then I went back strictly minor pentatonic, and then just a standard turnaround. We'll cover that nicely. All right, that's it for this video. I just wanted to share that with you because it will definitely give you a different sound to use in your blues solos, and it'll help you start to force you to memorize the notes in a 12-bar blues progression even more, and just the notes over the chords you're playing over. And it'll kind of help you dissolve things down and see the guitar neck, not with these big scale shapes necessarily. You can kind of have them running in the RAM in the background all the time, but just seeing these little fragments and choosing your notes, over the 1, 4, and the 5 chord, this is a really good way to do that and kind of get away from just that traditional minor pentatonic blues sound. This is a really good kind of spice to add to your picking. All right, again, if you haven't gone to guitarfam.com yet and created your complimentary account, do that. You can join us monthly or with an annual membership too. I look forward to seeing you there. Bye.